Okay, do you remember these? These are from your homework from last week. And you were supposed to be able to write the equation of these and write A for the unknown leading coefficient because we didn't have a scale factor to consider. But I just want to go back through and review how to do these because you can't do our part today unless you remember how. I know this is a little fuzzy, so I'm going to make it clearer for you. This dot right here is at the whole number 1. This dot here is at -1. And this dot here is at -3. So what it looks like to me is that you have a cubic. There are 3 places where it crosses the x-axis. So what you do is you write your you write your answers down, your roots down. Here are your roots in x equals form. And then you turn them into factors. Remember, factors have the opposite sign. So it should be x plus 3 and x plus 1 and then x minus 1. Cubics have a pattern where it either end behavior either starts down and goes up or starts up and goes down. And whatever it ends with is what the A value will be. So this one ends in a down position. And when it ends in a down position, that means that A is negative. So we have a negative A here, guys. Our goal for today is going to be to solve for A. So we have to be able to do this before we can move on to our lesson. Let's review one more. Here's number 10. Number 10, in case it's a little fuzzy, that dot's at -3, this dot's at -1, and this dot's at 1. Now, this is definitely not a cubic. And the reason why I know it's not a cubic, even though it has 3 dots on the x-axis, is because the end behavior is the same. And they're both pointing up. And since the end behavior is the same, it's got to be an even-powered function. So I'm thinking, let's take a look at our places where it's crossing and see what's doing. Okay, here it is. Do you see that? That's a bounce. So when I have x equals -3 as my answer and it's bouncing off, then that means that I have to have x plus 3 as a factor, but the bounce indicates a double root, so that should be squared. Now the rest of these two just kind of pass through. So I have an x equals -1 and an x equals 1, which means that down here I've got an x plus 1 and I've got an x minus 1. This end behavior both ends in an up position, which indicates that A is positive. Because it's up at the end, this is a positive A. So that means that I'm going to put A out here as a positive, and there is my equation. For the next couple slides, we're going to be solving for A. So this is going to be our first step.